guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Kagari, and make sure to subscribe, like, comment down below, and make sure to turn on your post notifications because we post videos every single week. So this video is being posted on May 1st, and you guys are probably like, what the heck does May 1st mean? Well, the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I decided to finally open up about this. I felt like it was right to make this video on this month, and I've been kind of planning to post it on this month. If you guys didn't see, in the month of November I did post a video about diabetes because my little sister has diabetes, so I was like, if I'm doing that for other people, why would I not post a video for the month of awareness on what I'm struggling with? So that's what I am doing today. Now, I'm just going to put a disclaimer, like, I'm going to be talking about mental health, nothing too in-depth, but I'm going to be talking about mental health, anxiety, depression a little bit, so if you don't like listening about that or that triggers you, then just don't watch it. We started our YouTube journey about 7 to 8 months ago, and it's crazy how far we've come, and we've put so much time and effort into our videos, and we have so much fun making our videos, pranks, challenges. We're always happy to film. We love filming. I love editing. It's just been such a fun journey. But what I realized is that you guys, even just on our TikToks, our Snapchats, Instagram, and YouTube obviously, all that you guys see is all happy stuff, and I feel like our life sometimes looks a little bit too perfect. And not that I feel guilty, but I opened up about it a little bit on my Snapchat the other day. And I feel like I wanted to make a YouTube video about it so that the people who just watch us on YouTube could also know a little bit of what I'm talking about. I am alone for this video because it's mainly me, I think, that struggles with mental health more than Josh. That's not really one of his issues. He's a super happy-go-lucky guy, and he didn't even know what anxiety was until he met me. So he just felt like he would be in the way if he was just sitting here and I'm just the one talking the whole time. So yeah, I'm making this video by myself. I'm not gonna go into too much details. Obviously, some things are better kept private, and I would just rather keep certain things to myself. I want to talk about my experiences and struggles a little bit and kind of how I deal with them, maybe in hopes of helping you guys. So yeah, let's get right into it. I do think that it is a decision to make whether to be happy or not, no matter what you're struggling with. I do think sometimes, a lot of the times, it is mind over matter. I'm not gonna sit here and say, poor me, I have anxiety or I'm dealing with this, and so that's why I'm always sad. Like, obviously sometimes you can use it as an excuse for certain things because it does have an effect on your life, but I do think that you can choose to be happy through it all, which obviously I struggle with sometimes, and I think a lot of people do. So I do struggle mostly, like I said, with anxiety. That's probably my main struggle. In the past, I've been through a lot of like lows, and I went through a depression, so I was depressed at one point, I would say. I'm not really going to talk about when, but it was years ago, so I haven't been depressed in years. I've gone over it, and I think it's less of a struggle for me because I've found myself and my happiness. It was just like a very tough time that I was going through, a lot going on, but anxiety is my main struggle today. Anxiety is something that I deal with every single day. I've had it ever since I was a little girl, and obviously as I get older, my triggers or causes for my anxiety to spark up are different than they were back then, and I think it just keeps evolving as I get older. But obviously the anxiety doesn't get easier, like, it really doesn't. It just gets different, you know, and sometimes I'll have weeks or even months where my anxiety is doing great, and then sometimes I'll have a few days in a row where my anxiety is doing horrible. So it's really just something that's all over the place, and you can't control when it's going to come bothering you and when it's not, but you can control how you deal with it. Oakley came to join me. He's my emotional support dog. No. But anyways, I feel like dogs can like sense it too. Like my dog, when I'm crying or I have anxiety, like he'll come cuddle up to me. Oakley's a very anxious dog too, so I think he deals with anxiety as well. Every day I'm battling with my own head. That's pretty much how I can explain anxiety. You're constantly just battling with your own brain, and it gets very exhausting sometimes. My anxiety mostly stems from change. I hate change. I'm a person of habit, and I just love something about the same thing. I like exploring, like I like doing new things, but I don't like changes, and I don't like moving the furniture around in the living room. Like, I've gone better with it because I'm constantly moving things, right? It gets better, but as a kid, it would be the end of the world. If I came home from school and my mom had moved around all the furniture, I would have anxiety for a few days because I had to get used to it, and it gave me anxiety. So that's just like an example, but change, like big changes in my life, like starting university and ending high school, by example, or stuff like that is very stressful for me. I don't like change at all. And another one of my biggest triggers for anxiety would be medical things. I absolutely hate medical things. I've always hated it. I have a hard time anything medical. I can't even watch it on TV. I cannot swallow my food at supper if we're talking about anything medical. It is horrible. And then obviously when something bad happens, obviously life is full of ups and downs, and let's say someone dies in the family or something like that, you know, stuff that just happens occasionally that is normal, but I get anxiety, I get anxious when those types of situations happen too, which I think that's normal anxiety. Everyone feels, right? Like in certain situations, I think everyone has anxiety. I used to not want to deal with my anxiety, especially in high school. I just wanted to I didn't want to admit that I had anxiety. I did admit it, but I didn't want to deal with it. I was too lazy and scared to deal with it, so I thought if I ignored it and just tried to escape it, that it would just eventually go away. But that's definitely not the case. The best thing to do for anxiety is to deal with it head on. You have to think of yourself as way more powerful than your anxiety. I see my anxiety almost as another person coming in my head and telling me all these things, because I do overthink a lot, and I think a lot of it is my anxiety. It's my anxiety telling me to think all of these scenarios and things, and so you have to take control. You have to have more control than your anxiety does. So you have to tell your anxiety. Sometimes when I get anxiety, I'll tell my anxiety, go away, you are not ruining my day. It sounds stupid, like I don't actually say it out loud, I'm not talking to myself, but I say it in my head. I think to myself, I'm like, no, you know what, I'm stronger than this. I'm not gonna let this anxiety take over my day. I'm not gonna let it do this. So you just have to feel stronger, because as soon as you feel like you can't take it, then that's when your anxiety takes over. Like I said, you're constantly battling with your own head. It's you versus your anxiety. So you have to make yourself stronger than your anxiety. And it sounds maybe hard to do, but once you do it a few times, it actually will start working. I promise. It's a really good way to deal with it. What I'm saying is you can't let it take over your life. As much as I'm saying this though, yes, sometimes anxiety will ruin my day. I'll have a horrible day just because of my anxiety, or a horrible situation or something will happen because of my anxiety, or whatever. I'll ruin other people's moods because of my anxiety. It's just, it happens, right? Like sometimes you can't always control it, but as much as I can, for the most part, I try to go against it head on and think I am stronger than this. I don't have to think this way. It's just my anxiety telling me to think this way. So yeah. One of the hardest things I think that I find is hard about anxiety, and I've seen a lot of other people talk about this, is that no one can see it. So if you were to break a bone or to get shot, people would notice it, but I could be having a panic attack and no one would even notice. So I think that's what's hard, is that you feel like you're alone because no one can see how much you're hurting on the inside. Another thing that's also really helped me is because I feel like that, especially when I'm about to have a panic attack or having a panic attack, or I'm like hyperventilating, I feel like often like I'm either gonna pass out, throw up, or I can't breathe. You just feel suffocated and no one can see. So normally what really helps me is telling someone that I'm anxious or that I have anxiety, that I'm having a panic attack. It makes me feel better that someone knows. That way if something were to happen to me, then I feel better knowing that someone knows. So usually I'll tell Josh, even it'll just be the two of us in the car, we'll just be driving and I'm gonna tell him I have anxiety right now. And he's like, okay, and he just grabs my hand, and you know what, after a few minutes it goes away because I'm like, okay, he knows I have anxiety and everything's gonna be okay. I'm not alone in this. So maybe try that next time you guys are with either your friend or your significant other or really anywhere. I'm sure people will understand. You just tell them, I'm really feeling anxious right now. I just wanted to let you know. It just makes me feel better knowing that someone knows, right? So I feel like that's a very good method to have. It's definitely scary telling other people that you have anxiety, but if it's your close friends or your significant other, then it really shouldn't be a problem. But Josh has been really supportive of me struggling with this. Obviously at the beginning of our relationship it was a little bit harder because he was kind of new to anxiety and all of these mental health struggles. He didn't understand it, he didn't know how to deal with it, but now after 2.5 years of dating, we've learned kind of what works for us, because we used to almost fight every time that I would have anxiety or something because he wouldn't know what to do, and then I would get more anxious, and it was just like a big snowball effect. But now we know how to deal with it, so every time it happens, it's just way better that we have kind of like a little system going on. So we found what works for us. So I would suggest, if you're in a relationship or even just with your best friend, whatever, or with your family, whoever that you're always with, to try to find ways, tell them what you need in that moment, and then you guys will find ways to deal with it every time it'll happen, and it'll stop causing issues. And I feel like once the people around you know how to deal with it, I mean, it's not up to them to deal with it, but it's hard on everyone around you, right? When you have anxiety, it's not easy for your family or your friends or your significant other to see you go through that. So obviously, if you guys find a good method where they know what will work for you, and you know that this will work for you, and you guys are working together through it, that definitely really helps. Just find a healthy way to deal with it with everyone around you, and it will make your life so much easier, I promise. Another tip that helps me most of the time, especially during panic attacks, is getting fresh air. Even if it's midnight and I'm having a panic attack in my bed, get up, go outside, even just on the porch, and I'll just take deep breaths. In the summer, sometimes I'll just put my bare feet on the ground just to ground myself. I just sometimes literally go out, like, for walks in the middle of the night because I get anxiety. And I feel like fresh air just helps. It just makes you calm down, because when I'm inside, I just feel stuck. I feel more suffocated. I feel like the walls are almost closing in on me. So when you get outside, I think that definitely helps a lot. I think therapy definitely also really helps. A lot of people don't like it, and personally, I've had 2 different therapists in the past. I didn't really click with them, so I thought that I didn't like therapy because I never clicked with any of my therapists. But I do think it helps to talk to people about it, and obviously it's not the people around you's jobs to be your therapist. So I have been journaling though, which is nice sometimes, because sometimes I feel like I'm crazy for thinking these things. So writing it down in my journal, I feel like it allows me to let it out without feeling guilty about it, and it just makes me feel almost like I've told someone. Like I said, for me, a big trigger is health things, medical things. So that's why, that's not completely why, but I do love to take care of myself. I love to eat healthy. I love to go to the gym. I love to take all these supplements and immunity shots and all of those things that just make me feel healthier and better about myself. I just feel like if I know that I'm doing the best I can to stay healthy, then I tell myself there's no point in being anxious, because if something medical is gonna happen to me, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna have done everything I can to be healthy, so there's nothing more that I can do. I'm making mostly this video because I don't want you guys looking at all of our videos and content and thinking that everything is perfect and that we have a perfect life. Obviously you guys don't think we have a perfect life, but I want things to seem like we're always happy and we don't struggle and whatever, because obviously I used to do that, right? You look at other people on the internet and they show what they want to show, and you can even tell that they are struggling. They just want to show the good things, which I love showing the good things mostly, because for me YouTube is almost like an escape. I think for Josh too, it's just an escape from everything else that's going on in life. We love filming videos and it always puts us in a good mood to film. So I never really get anxious when I'm filming or when we're doing a challenge or anything like that. So you guys don't see kind of that side. I hope you guys can maybe benefit from some of my personal ways to deal with anxiety. I also didn't know what I wanted to go to school for after high school, so I decided to go to university for psychology, simply because I've always been intrigued with how our mind works, I guess, because I struggle with it myself, so I wanted to know more on how it works. If you guys seem to relate or want me to talk about this subject a little more or have any questions, don't hesitate to comment down below, or you can send me a private message either on Instagram or Snapchat. So go follow me on all of those because I'm ready to answer anything and I want to help you guys out as much as I can. I know for me, seeing other people go through similar things as me, like other people having anxiety and opening up about it, makes me feel a little bit better, because often when I have anxiety I feel very alone. So when you realize that there's other people going through the same things, you just feel like, when I have anxiety sometimes I'll tell myself, okay, like, I'm not the only one who deals with it, so I will get through this and I am okay. And that helps me a lot too. So I'm hoping to have that effect maybe on some of you, if that tends to help you. I know that I've been like smiling through this whole video, so it probably seems like I'm just fine. It's obviously hard for me to talk about it, but I don't want the video to just be me crying and sad. So obviously it is hard for me to talk about it, but I got through it and I'm fine, and I'm happy that I did this video. And I just hope that it can help some of you guys out there. So I love you guys so much, and sorry if this video was a little bit different than the rest of our videos, a little bit more on the serious side, but I felt like this is something I should open up about to you guys, which I'm starting to do more and more. I'm starting to learn to open up more about it, and I don't really care what people think. I really don't. It's so normal and it should be normalized. So at this point, I just will be as open as I can about it. Anyways, make sure to subscribe to join the JC family, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Don't play with it, don't be dishonest. Ay, still not understand.